Finally.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a technological freaking nightmare. Almost got me to throw the F. We've been working on this for almost an hour trying to get it right. And I know a lot about technology, but I'm not technologically inclined, whatever that means. Anyway, so my name is Dave Finale. This is episode 27 of Real Estate Talk, TGIF. Thank God it's finale. Well, it is Friday. The F works for both ways. So here we are. I'm so happy to have on someone who I call friend, who I met about a year ago, and he is in the real estate business. His name is Oscar Nunez. He is working with Keller Williams out of Jersey City. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Okay, and Oscar is he's the ripe old age of 22 at this point, a couple years younger than I am. Not much, but it's just a couple. Oscar's really nice guy, cool individual, and gets this business. And I always liked him from even before I knew how much business he did. But last year in 2018, as finishing up college, right? He did $7 million in production and already has $4 million pending for January right now. So people wonder, like, who is this guy, right? We've got a lot of people in this area that are on the broadcast now and coming on. And again, we apologize for the delay. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties. So, Oscar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Finally, we actually get to talk after 40 minutes.
Right. And I want everybody to know that it was Oscar's fault, not mine. The old guy was right. The young guy was wrong. Let's make that part of the record. We won't say what or how, but we figured it out. Anyway.
We figured it out.
So tell me, Oscar, you tell me you first got licensed when you were 19, so about 3 years ago, right? And you're here in the real estate business and you're going to college. What were your initial thoughts?
I mean, to be honest, the reason I actually joined real estate was to pay my college tuition. I never wanted to be a real estate agent. Most of the people that I actually met, they were above 28, so I thought I was not going to make it. But, I come from a real estate background, but it was in a different country, different type of situation. And my dad kept telling me, Oscar, you do it so you could pay your tuition. I never believed him until I actually got my first check and my first deal, which it was in the first week, and I got my first. Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't consider that much part of my exercise because it just happened to be somebody just called me. He wants to list a property. I've been in the business for 3 days and I listed the property 6% and I got the buyer. So, when I was double ending that transaction. So, and I wasn't even that happy because it took me a month and a half to close. So I was like, wait, so if this is going to be happening every single month, I got to wait a month and a half in order to close. I was like, man, this is not for me, but of course, afterwards, when I created that relationship with the clients, it was a whole different story. They referred me a bunch of people and just multiple transactions afterwards. But it was hard because, as you said before, I was in college. So I was kind of like a part-time agent and I couldn't do much, to be honest.
Right. So, okay. So you get into the business and you did that first deal, which was, I'm going to tell you that somebody or something was on your side.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you, oh, it's going to take at least a year for you to do any business. I think it's a lot of crap. I think a lot of brokers try to fool themselves because they suck at their jobs. Brokers, in my opinion. When I was a broker, I didn't suck, by the way. I was really good. But it takes time to get going sometimes. But you have to have certain things in place. Okay, so you joined the real estate business. What did the people tell you that you were working with to help train you and get you started? What were they telling you?
Well, the first thing they told me, don't get listings. I mean, go get listings, but in order for you to get listings, it will take you a longer process. You need to say that you sold at least 20 properties or some other kind of excuse, So that I had that mentality, unfortunately. So, and I started working with buyers. They told me, oh, do everything else, open houses, like everybody tells you, open houses, cold calling. They even told me don't do door knocking because it's old fashioned. And myself, now I'm kind of known because of the door knocking situation. Right. So everybody told me just follow the pattern. But I mean, everybody was doing it, but I didn't see other people being successful. So I thought I had to be creative somehow on how I do my business.
You wanted to do it differently than everybody else was doing it.
Correct. So I ended up doing door knocking, which is a whole, I mean, it's old fashioned, but it has worked for me. Like all my deals, like 90% of them is everything door knocking. Nothing's really cold calling. Because what happened was when I used to do cold calling, people would think I'm knowledgeable on the phone, but when I go to the appointment physically, they would look at me up and down and they'd be like, who is this kid? You know what I mean? So when I go door knocking, it's the opposite. As soon as they open the door, it's kind of your listing appointment already. So you have 60 seconds in order to convince this guy you're the right guy. So in cold calling, you gotta make the appointment. You gotta convince them to work with you. You gotta go into other 2 appointments. You gotta get the property. So door knocking was my main thing since the beginning, and
I said to you, one of the first times we met, I said to you, heard about what you've done and all this other stuff. And I said to you, I don't know if you remember the question I asked you. It was, what was your biggest problem? What was the biggest issue you encountered? You remember what your answer was?
Yeah, I mean, people didn't actually.
Your answer was my face.
Yeah.
That's what you said. So door knocking. What else did you do that others will refuse to do, others won't do? There are other things you did, right, aside from door knocking?
Well, it's funny, to be honest. Everything's related towards the end to door knocking. I mean, cold calling, I was doing it, but it was working for me, but it wasn't working as cold calling. So everything falls behind door knocking. So I do open houses, but when I do open houses, I do door knocking. I door knock 150 houses per day, right? So I already have my schedule planned out Monday to Friday. Mondays and Tuesdays, I do random houses. I pick the street that I sold the property in the past. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I do old expires from 2013, 2012, and I have a whole database where I could get all that information.
So in other words, what you're doing is, while it is door knocking, there is a script in your head of what you're using based on a past business or
Correct.
Old expireds. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir. Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
No, it's just so Mondays and Tuesdays, I do a property that is sold within the area. So I'll be like, hey, look, I got 7 offers. Will you feel comfortable if I bring in one of those offers into your property? So of course, they start asking me how much this property sold for. So I target that specific niche when it comes to either 2-family, 3-family homes. And I tell them, look, I got an offer for $600,000, but I could get an offer for $700 because I know I have offers for $700, but I haven't told them yet. But when I told them $600, they're already excited. But I already have all the offers for $700. So I bring them, I'll be like, never mind, I got an offer for $700. So now they want to kind of sell, you know what I mean? Right. And that's just a Monday and Tuesday situation. And Wednesday and Thursday, I target, I have my own package. I customize it myself. I have it actually with me. I'm actually going door knocking afterwards. I have a whole package for old expires. And for old expires, it's a little bit easier because they already had that incentive they want to sell. But the problem was other realtors, they didn't want to take the time to find the old expires because it's a lot of work. But it took me 1 week completely to get everything done, to find a specific niche where to go and how to find the exact seller. And if I had to drive 2 hours away because he probably doesn't live in the property, I have done it and I get the listing. So I tell myself, if I'm gonna drive 2 hours in order to get the listing, I bring the listing paperwork, I bring the listing presentation, and I make them sign the same day, and so that's what has happened so far.
So in other words, you've basically done some things that others won't do. You've worked differently than most others, which is what I always try to preach. And, along with working where your listings were or where you've sold a house.
Yeah.
And that's basically a just listed, just sold door knock. So it is a cold door knock.
Yeah.
But it's also, but you have a reason to be there rather just knocking on the door and saying, hi, you want to sell your house? Which is not the script, but you get where I'm going with it, right?
And the way I put it, it's actually your listing. It's your listing appointment. As soon as they open the door for me, it's showtime. Because as soon as they open the door for me, I have 60 seconds to do the first 2 pages of a listing presentation. I gotta tell them who I am. I gotta sell why I sell in the area. So if you convince them in 60 seconds that who you are, it's almost 60% chances you're gonna get the listing.
So tell me, where did you learn that?
By myself. Well, I was reading through some stuff, but I always had mentors at the beginning, but I'm the type of person who wanted to learn everything by myself.
Right.
So like if I'm a lose 30 listings, I want to lose them because I did a mistake, not because somebody else helped me. And then afterward I was able to master everything out. And I'm the type of person who I want to be the go-to guy for door knocking. I have clients calling me every single day that I door knock that I don't recall, I don't remember them. Actually, New Year's, I went to church and there was a lady in the front door, and she was like, "Hey, Oscar, how are you?" I didn't know who she was. And
Right.
then she was like, "Hey, look, you're door in my house." And this literally was more than 8 months ago. Guess what? She called me 2 days later. Now I'm listing her building, you know, just through door knocking. And I saw her one more time. So she already recognized my face.
Was
you know?
it was there any specific to the areas aside from where you sold the home that you targeted? Was there anything other reason you targeted the specific area you did?
Well, especially in my area, which is the Gold Coast, it's close to New York. There's two different sides, right? You had the For Lease section, which is almost high end, along with Edgewater, and then you had the Jersey City market, which is booming. So everybody wants to be within those sections. So myself, I was living in West New York, so nobody really was doing West New York, North Bergen, Union City. So I found a niche where I could just take advantage of before everybody comes. So now most of the realtors, they want to come towards those areas. But I mean, it's not like I'm covering everything, but I cover a big part of it. So now when people say, "Oh, I want to list my house," at least I'm one of the options they interview. So I chose that specific section because everybody wanted to do Jersey City, which it was booming. So everybody wanted to do that part, but they wanted to do the high end, which it was Edgewater, Cliffside Park, and the other section. And that's why I targeted within West New York and Union City, not very good.
Your price range varies. Do you have is there a sweet spot of a price range for you, or a price point for you?
Right now it's 550, but I'm actually boosting. Well, 550 was from 2018. That was my average sales. Now, I mean, to be honest, I just listed 3 properties, and most of them are above $1 million. So I'm already boosting my price range, because I'm getting mostly into commercial. And it's funny, I'm getting commercial through door knocking as well.
That's phenomenal. So so you started the business, had no clue. Someone told you to do it this way, and you basically felt that they were just going to tell you stuff just to get you out of their hair. And so then you created a system. You created a system after you got your first deal of door knocking and why you were going to door knocking. Tell me, for 2019, have you set up a plan and have you set up goals as far as systems and tools to use for 2019?
Yeah, I already have everything set up. My goal, I actually want to triple my business. I want to go from 7 million, which was a part-time agent. I want to go to 22 million. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, right? But I already have my plans. I have everything set up on how I'm doing it. Actually, you see in my bag right here. Those are my listings and my under contracts. Everything that I listed within this month. So I do have tools when it comes to now. I want to get into cold calling just because people could know me a little bit more. So if they don't open the door when I door knock, they know who I am. But yeah, I have a system. My main goal is to get 4 listings per month and 3 under contract per month.
Do you have any assistants?
Not at the moment, but I'm actually working with my sister, right? She got into real estate as well, and so she's helping me manage that part of it. And eventually, of course, that's one of my main goals for this year. I like within the first quarter to get an assistant, so I could be more leverage on my time.
Right. So I want to address a couple of things you said, just to boost them up. One is you have systems in place, you have a plan, and your goal is to triple your 7 million from 18 to 19.
Correct.
21, 22 million. And you just said that seems kind of, big and everything. But I'm going to tell you that because you've got a system in place, because you've perfected your system, there's no reason why that number is a difficult number. I talk to agents all over the country, even today. And the attitude that they have about getting more business is kind of crazy because they don't. I mean, if you talk to the average agent just in New Jersey, let's say, and they said, well, I did 7 million last year. I want to do 21 million next year.
Yeah.
You're nuts. That's not possible.
Yeah.
I say bullshit. It is possible.
It is possible.
I say with the right timing, with the right plan, with the right system, is what I try to do is I try to take tools for people and help them use simple systems to make them work. And that's what the simple thing is, you know? And that's what shameless plug for me, my show, I can do that. Real estate skills builder. That's what we do in that program, that online program. Like I said, I talk to people all over the country since we've started promoting it over the past several weeks. And, you know, it's the same thing. I mean, you know, someone who did $1 million last year wants to do 10 million this year. And I say, how are you going to do that? They say, well, you know, I've got this idea. I'm going to try this. And I say to them, don't even go there. Don't even try, because you're not going to be successful. If you're talking about planning today for 2019, you're already behind, right? Yeah. However, it doesn't mean you cannot accomplish it. It just means, hey, you know, you need to do the work.
You need to step it up or be realistic with a new goal.
Well, you know, I get the point about realistic, but I also understand that if you're willing to do the work and bust your ass and put in the time, any goal could be realistic, you know? I mean, for me, you know, I have goals and everything that I want to accomplish this year. I write them down every day. And I'm reminded of, I learned that from Grant Cardone, right? I remind myself every day what I want to do. And every day brings me a little bit closer to making my plan more solid, using the right systems and tools. I mean, you know, I've been coached and taught by the greats, from Tom Ferry to my current coach, who's fantastic. His name's Grant Wise. Just absolutely amazing stuff. So, you know, I'm so psyched you came on. Thank you so much again. And this, by the way, this is Real Estate Talk, TGIF. Every Friday we do a show, whether it's an interview or just me talking about stuff. And we've got some really good guests lined up for you for the rest of the quarter right now. Next week, we're going to have on Rebecca Mountain from Toronto, Canada, who is a real estate coach. She's spoken at the EBCBOR meeting a couple of years ago, which is where we met. Great person, great coach, great stuff. And then we've also got Sarah Kalki from Edmonton, Canada, a single agent doing 100 transactions a year. So we got that in the future. But right now we're still with Oscar here. Oscar, is there anything else, any advice that you would give any agent and agents that are on this and that will watch this and will listen to this? I don't care if you're 18 or 118, listen to what this man has to say. So give us one bit of advice you would give someone who wants to double their business, either going from 1 to 2 or from 1 to 22. What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them, like, to be honest, real estate, it has its own, you know, real estate, you got to follow some steps. Now, the only difference, you got to be creative with those steps, because, you know, and if you do cold calling, try to find a different way. You know, if you do door knock, you find to do a different way. If you do open houses, do it in a different way, because that way you can stand out. And do it every day. I mean, at the beginning, if you feel lazy, you know, you wake up at 5 in the morning. Myself, as I said one more time, I schedule 150 houses a day. So if you want to do cold calling, do 3 hours a day, but do it consistently, because, you know, you don't want to do 2 deals and then forget another 2 months. So you want to keep it consistent so your name is out there. And just follow the models, you know, and just be a hustler, because that's what it takes. You know, a lot of people get lazy in the business because you have nobody on the back telling you what to do. You know, sometimes we feel comfortable, we lay down, we close 5 deals in 1 month. So we think the next month we're going to get another 10 deals. And it doesn't work that way, you know. In this business, if you stop 1 month, you know, next month you're not going to get anything, you know. So it's the whole year itself, you got to do something, you know. And afterwards, when you already have your business settled, you know, the referrals are going to come slowly. You might hire a buyer's agent, you might hire an admin, you might hire listing agent. So now your work is a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, there's 2 more things I want to bring out and just have stand out from what you said. You know, you said something earlier about this house you had door knocked 8 months earlier, and she found you in church and said, you know, to talk to you and you're listing your house.
Yeah.
And the other thing you said is, as you move along, the referrals are going to come. I put those two things together, what I just said, and say, look, it's all about where you're working and how you're working. And we can use the word funnel as much as we like, but we also have to understand that the funnel is also part of people you do not talk to. So if you're generating leads, just like you did with door knocking, I'm sure you have a record of every home you've door knocked. And you might not remember them, but you have a piece of paper somewhere that has what you did, right?
Yeah, I do. As soon as I speak with them, I send them a letter. I go home, send them a letter. Hey, thank you for speaking with me. If I don't get the listing the same day, I'll send them a letter. Even the guys that they call me and they tell me, oh, stop bothering me, because I don't want to be the agent, the annoying agent of the town. So once in a while, I get a guy who calls me and tell me, oh, stop putting flyers on my door, stop door knocking. So what I do, I go home, I send them a letter and be, hey, look, I highly apologize for being, for me being annoying towards you. I just want to help you out. Just know if you need anything in the future, feel free to call me because you're going to see me around. So, and I see these people around. I see them in the supermarket. I pass by once in a while by the property so they could see me if I see them on the yard, I pull over, get out, I pretend I'm just walking by. They say hi to me now. So they be like, oh yeah, you're the guy who sent me the letter saying that you apologize, So you always want to be the good guy in the town. And whether they get annoyed by you or whether they like you,
Yeah, well, that's really important. I mean, okay, so you just talked about another aspect of what other agents will not do and they refuse to do, and that's notes and handwritten notes. And when someone says leave me alone, or someone sends an email, stop emailing me, the first thing they do is they do it. They stop. But what you did is something it's like I know we haven't worked together. But it's like you're preaching my song here. Send a note that says, hey, I'm so sorry for bothering you. You're sending an apology note. You always send that handwritten note, no matter what you're doing, whether they screamed at you or kissed you, you're sending a thank you note. Thank you for their time and apologizing. You'll get more business from an apology than you will from a thank you.
Right. And they respect you. They respect you afterwards. Yeah.
Most agents just don't get it. I mean, and here's the bottom line to, I believe, everything you've done in your business and how you've accomplished. It's 2 words: be nice. You're there and you're being nice with everybody. In your first 60 seconds, you're doing your presentation. You're selling you. There's a book out there. I forget who it's written by, and I read it a long time ago. It's called "You Have 3 Minutes." And it's a story of this guy that wanted to pitch something to Donald Trump. And little thing here, right, is this is not a political statement. He wanted Donald Trump to do something for him. This is 20 years ago. And Donald Trump gave him 3 minutes. He met in his plane. So he knew he had 3 minutes and he had to do everything in 3 minutes. He got the deal with Donald Trump because he figured out what he had to do in 3 minutes. You have figured out what to do in 1 minute, which is really, really freaking cool.
Yeah, because the first thing they do, they open the door and they'll be like, oh, get out of here. So you have 60 seconds. You don't really have 3 minutes because these people, they just slightly open the door and be like, who is this? And then you go for it. And then as soon as they open the door more, it's funny. Like when I see they open the door a little bit slighter, like they open a little bit more, I call it myself, it's showtime, Now it's me. I have my listing presentation in my car. I have everything. I'll be like, hey, give me a second. I have this for you. I go get it, and then I start talking about it, and then I most of the times so far last year I signed 6 listings the same day that I met the person, because I told them, look, let's put it exclusive for 2 weeks. I know you don't know who I am, but at least you're gonna have a sense of the market. But they already trust you, and for me it was a little bit harder. I had to go to planning boards from every town so I could be a little bit knowledgeable of who I was. And as you said before, always be nice, because these people, they're going to remember you just for being nice, not for being actually a real estate agent,
Right. Right. Well, Oscar, I don't know if you can see the live comments that we got going. Is you got a lot of fans out there. But that's hard work, best way to be. Lillian Paz, perseverance. Brenda Moraro, keep rocking it. David Kwan, Oscar for President 2020. We got Under Promise, Over Deliver by Patrick Vilbon and Neil Wright. Way to go, Oscar. Sean Fallon, my man. And honestly, I do not I do not speak, nor can I read Spanish. So you wrote something there before. So anyway, you've got a lot of fans out there, and the opportunity. What I'd like to do sometime, we'd like to revisit this in a couple of months and see where you're at, and come back on if you would do that for me.
Absolutely.
Great, man. So I want to thank you so very much for coming on. Obviously, you're a hit, and we'll just keep rocking and keep talking. And it's a great thing to call you friend. I appreciate that, and hang on while we say goodbye to everybody, and I'll get back to you. Anyway, I want to thank you for being on. Please, if you're on here now watching, please share this with all of your friends and everybody on Facebook. Tell people about it. Feel free to leave comments and everything. If you're not watching it live, you can still do it. Oscar's going to have a copy of this where he can share it with people too. So thanks. Again, next week we have Rebecca Mountain, and it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time on Friday morning, which will be January 11th. And it's January 4th. Everybody, just something I want to tell you to do right now, get off your ass and get working. Oscar, thank you again. Take care, everybody. One other thing, just so you know, for being on the show, you get one of these great real estate skill builder hats.
Nice. I'm going to go door knocking with them.
See? So you get one of the new hats, and I have a couple of deliveries to make from the last two shows. So, Oscar, hang on. I'll talk to you in a second. And everybody, thanks so much for being on. Take care.
Thank you, guys.